If you can't control life, how should you live? A Buddhist view. Have you ever woken up with a heavy feeling in your heart, unsure of how the day will unfold? You plan your morning carefully, maybe even your whole week. But then traffic slows you down, an unexpected phone call arrives, or your coffee spills across the table. In just a moment, everything seems to fall apart. That sense of frustration and helplessness, we all know it well. As human beings, we keep trying to control life, thinking that if we just plan enough or work hard enough, everything will go smoothly. But has life ever really followed our plans? When we look closely, we see how many things are beyond our control. The weather changes without asking us. Flights are delayed no matter how important our schedule feels. Someone we love falls ill without warning. A job we thought was stable suddenly shifts. Even the words and actions of people around us can surprise us. We spend so much of our energy trying to manage these things, only to feel tired and disappointed when they don't turn out the way we hoped. This constant effort to control what cannot be controlled becomes like an invisible weight we carry, draining our strength day after day. The Buddha explained this human struggle with profound clarity. He taught the 3 marks of existence, tilakkhana, 3 truths about all things in life. The first is impermanence, anicca. Everything is changing. Our bodies, our feelings, our health, our relationships. Even the breath you are taking right now is never the same from one moment to the next. The second is suffering or unsatisfactoriness, dukkha. Because things are always changing, nothing can give us lasting satisfaction. Even in moments of happiness, we sometimes feel a quiet unease, a reminder that joy too will pass. This is the dukkha the Buddha pointed out, not only pain or sadness, but the deep restlessness of clinging to what cannot last. The third truth is non-self, anatta. The self we try so hard to protect, the I we believe to be solid and permanent, is in fact just a flow of changing thoughts, feelings, and experiences. There is no fixed essence behind it. Yet because we believe otherwise, we cling to life as if we could make it ours forever. From this clinging, suffering naturally arises. Other traditions have seen the same truth. The Stoic philosophers of Greece taught that peace comes from knowing what is within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and choices, and what is not. Epictetus, for example, reminded us that freedom begins when we stop fighting what cannot be changed. Later, existentialist thinkers like Heidegger described human beings as thrown into existence, arriving in life without choosing its starting conditions. These different voices, across time and cultures, echo the same insight. Much of life simply lies outside our control. Our deepest suffering does not come from impermanence itself, but from resisting it. We wear ourselves out trying to hold on to what cannot be held, trying to control what cannot be controlled. But the Buddha showed another way. He taught that when we see impermanence clearly, with wisdom, we can loosen our grip and let go of the struggle. Then peace begins to grow in our hearts. As the Dhammapada says, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purity. If life is always changing, if so much of it lies outside our control, then a natural question arises. Where does real freedom lie? Are we simply at the mercy of fate, powerless to choose our path? Many of us have felt this doubt in quiet moments of fear or despair. Yet this is where the Buddha's teaching shines with clarity, showing us that true freedom is not about controlling the outside world, but about discovering the strength already within us. The Buddha never denied life's uncertainty. Instead, he invited us to see clearly. While we cannot control the weather, the economy, the health of our bodies, or even the words and actions of others, there is one domain that no one else can rule over: our own mind, our speech, and our actions. This is our sacred ground. Here, we hold complete sovereignty. Freedom is not about bending the world to our desires, but about shaping our inner response to whatever comes our way. This is where the teaching on karma becomes deeply empowering. We are not puppets pulled by unseen strings. Each thought we nurture, each word we speak, each action we take, plants a seed in the garden of our life. The Buddha taught, "Intention, I tell you, is karma." Intending, one does karma by way of body, speech, and intellect. Karma is not a fixed destiny, but the natural unfolding of choices. Every moment we have the chance to plant new seeds through mindful, compassionate actions. In this way, we shape our own future. At the same time, the Buddha reminded us that not all suffering comes from past karma alone. Some arises from illness, accidents, or external conditions. This understanding protects us from harsh judgment and teaches us to respond to suffering with compassion instead of blame. From this perspective, true freedom reveals itself. It is not the power to control storms outside, but the power to calm the storm inside. It is the ability to choose peace in the middle of chaos, to choose patience instead of anger, to choose letting go instead of clinging in fear. This is the strength that no one can take from us. As the Dhammapada beautifully reminds us, oneself is refuge of oneself. Who else indeed could refuge be? By good training of oneself, one gains a refuge hard to gain. When we learn to guide our own mind, we discover a safe harbor within, untouched by the noise of the world. Even modern psychology recognizes this truth in the concept of resilience. The strongest people are not those who never fall, but those who rise again, who adapt and grow after each setback. They do so not by controlling life's challenges, but by reshaping their inner response. This is the very essence of what the Buddha taught more than 2,500 years ago. So the greatest power we can ever know does not come from forcing life to obey us. It blossoms from transforming our own hearts and minds. In this light, we are no longer victims of circumstances, but masters of our inner world. And in that mastery lies a peace and freedom that no storm of life can ever take away. Once we understand that true power lies in mastering our inner world, another question naturally arises. How do we live with meaning and purpose in a life that is always changing? How do we face impermanence not as something depressing, but as a powerful reminder to live wisely, fully, and with joy? This is where the Buddha's wisdom offers us not only insight, but also a clear path forward. A key part of this wisdom is learning the difference between giving up and letting go. This difference is often misunderstood. When we give up, we stop trying. We sink into despair, thinking, "What's the point? Nothing will change." It is a passive surrender that drains hope and responsibility. Letting go, however, is completely different. Letting go means we still give our very best, but without clinging to results. It is not about indifference. It is about freedom from being shaken by success or failure, praise or blame. We act with care and commitment, but when outcomes arrive, we meet them with a calm heart. As the Buddha said, nothing is worth clinging on to. This is not a call to neglect life, but an invitation to live with wisdom, free from the suffering caused by attachment. The Buddha did not stop at telling us what to release. He gave us a complete guide for how to live with wisdom and compassion. This guide is the Noble Eightfold Path. It is practical, down to earth, and it touches every part of our lives. It includes right view and right intention, to see clearly and choose wisely, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, to live ethically and responsibly, and right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, to train the mind, grow awareness, and deepen inner peace. Together, these 8 factors form a compass, pointing us toward a life that is both purposeful and free. When we remember that everything is impermanent, life becomes even more precious. Impermanence is not a reason to give up. It is a wake-up call. It reminds us that every moment matters, and every choice plants seeds for the future. This is why the Buddha emphasized right effort, samma vayama, the steady, ongoing work of the heart. We strive to prevent harmful states from arising. Let go of those that have already arisen. Cultivate wholesome qualities that have not yet appeared, and nurture those already present. Just as an athlete trains day after day, we train the mind with patience and consistency. The Buddha put it simply and powerfully. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death. The heedful die not. The heedless are as if dead already. This reminds us how urgent and precious each moment truly is. The ultimate purpose of this path is not temporary happiness or external success, but nibbana, a state of unshakable peace beyond birth and death, beyond all conditions. Nibbana is the ultimate freedom, the safe harbor from the storms of life. Though it may sound distant, the path toward it begins here and now, in our everyday choices to live with wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. These qualities bring peace, not only in the present moment, but also open the door to the deepest liberation. To embrace impermanence is not to become passive. It is to wake up fully to the miracle of this fleeting life. Every day, every breath is an opportunity to live meaningfully, to plant wholesome seeds, to let go of what weighs us down, and to walk step by step toward true freedom. It is not about abandoning our goals, but about aligning them with the deepest truths of existence. In doing so, our lives become not just busy or productive, but deeply purposeful, filled with peace, compassion, and lasting significance. Our journey toward purposeful living does not end with finding peace for ourselves alone. True inner freedom and clarity cannot remain confined within the boundaries of our own hearts. Naturally, they begin to flow outward, touching the people around us. Real practice is not only about calming the storms within, it is about transforming that calm into compassionate action. Action that can bring healing to the pain and injustice we see in the world. This raises an important question. When faced with cruelty, inequality, and suffering, how does Buddhism respond? The Buddha never turned away from suffering. Instead, he looked directly into it and revealed the Four Noble Truths. He taught that suffering, dukkha, is universal, but its cause, samudaya, lies in craving, tanha, our endless grasping to hold on to things as though they could be permanent or truly ours. This craving is driven by greed, lobha, hatred, dosa, and delusion, moha. And from these roots arise cycles of pain, conflict, and injustice. Much of the violence, oppression, and exploitation we see in society today is born from these same forces. Yet the Buddha also gave us hope. While we cannot undo the past, our present choices, our present karma, hold immense power. With awareness and wise action, we can interrupt destructive cycles and plant seeds of healing for the future. For this reason, Buddhism does not teach indifference. It does not tell us to quietly accept injustice as fate. On the contrary, it calls us to act with compassion, karuna. Compassion is not pity, and it is not weakness. It is the deep wish that all beings be free from suffering, joined with the courage to help make that wish real. This spirit is beautifully expressed in the Bodhisattva path, where one dedicates their life to relieving the suffering of others, using wisdom and skillful means, upaya. True compassion is active, courageous, and wise. The Buddha also showed us practical ways to express compassion through the Noble Eightfold Path. With right speech, we can speak up for justice, but in a way that heals rather than divides. Words that are truthful, but also kind and constructive. With right action, we can live in ways that reduce harm, protecting the vulnerable, sharing resources, caring for the environment, and refusing to contribute to cycles of violence. Even the smallest gesture, a gentle word, a moment of listening, a hand reaching out to someone in need, can become a seed of peace in the world. At the same time, Buddhism reminds us that injustice is not only out there in society, it is also rooted in the human heart. Greed, hatred, and delusion do not just shape institutions. They live within us too. True change begins when we transform these poisons in ourselves. When we soften anger with patience, replace greed with generosity, and dispel delusion with wisdom, we stop feeding the causes of suffering. We then radiate peace outward, becoming part of the cure instead of part of the problem. The Buddha's words still ring true today. Hatred is never appeased by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. This is an eternal law. The Thai forest master Ajahn Chah once said, "If you let go a little, you will find a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will find a lot of peace. If you let go absolutely, you will find absolute peace and tranquility." His words remind us that the starting point of transformation is always within our own hearts. When we let go of clinging, compassion naturally arises. And from compassion, our actions become skillful and healing, touching not only our own lives, but the lives of everyone around us. In a world heavy with pain, Buddhism does not offer false promises or escape into wishful thinking. Instead, it gives us the most powerful tools: the wisdom to see clearly, the compassion to care deeply, and the skill to act in ways that heal. By beginning with ourselves and extending outward, we can become instruments of peace. This is the true meaning of purposeful living. Not just finding freedom for ourselves, but becoming a source of freedom and healing for others.